Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and if you want to know if you are eligible for the Global Korea Scholarship, continue watching this video. Hey, hello everyone, again welcome to Tong TV, and this is the second part of the two-part video for the Global Scholarship Program of South Korea. This is, as I mentioned to you, this is the second part, and if you didn't yet watch the first part about the different methods on how to apply or where to apply about this program, is you can watch this link or you can click this card above, and you can watch it first before watching this, or you may continue watching this if you want to know first if you are eligible about the program. Okay, so for today I'm going to share to you about the eligibility or the requirements of this program. So as I mentioned to you in the first video, I'm talking about the graduate school program, but some of the requirements are also requirements for bachelor's degree, but I'm going to discuss that for the undergraduate possible after this vlog, after this video. Okay, so let's start. So the first part or the first requirement that we're going to discuss is about the nationality. Okay, so it's quite simple, but it's quite strict. Why? Because this program is only eligible or only available for non-Korean citizens. So if you are a Korean and or your parents are Koreans or holding Korean citizenship, we want to focus with the citizenship. Okay, it means that you are not eligible for this program. For example, me, I'm not a Korean biologically. I'm not born and raised here in Korea, but I am holding a Korean citizenship, let's say, and that's my dream. Okay, let's say that I already holding a Korean citizenship, but I'm a Filipino biologically. Okay, I'm born Filipino. I am not eligible for this program. Okay, whatever is your origin or your root, and as long as you apply for this program but you are holding a Korean citizenship, no, sorry for that. And the second one about nationality is that Korean citizens holding a dual citizenship, okay, is also not allowed, okay, for this program. Okay, for example, you are a Korean citizen and you are holding a US or American citizenship, still you are not allowed for this. Okay, another one, if the applicants and their parents who had previously held Korean citizenship must submit the proofs that they renounce their Korean citizenship. It means that, for example, your parents are Koreans, okay, but they already renounce. When you say renounce, they give up being a Korean citizen. So you just need to submit a copy of the document, okay, upon your oath on that country. So it's just an evidence. Okay, but there's an exemption about Japan citizens, okay, or the Korean applicants holding Japanese citizenship. If their parents hold permanent residency permit within Japan while holding Korean citizenship, you are eligible for that. Okay, maybe some of you are on this case or have this kind of case, so probably or most probably you are still eligible for this program. Next one, age. So it's quite easy, okay, but if you miss the age or if you're overage or underage, you are still not eligible for this program. Okay, so you must be under 40 years old. I'm not sure, and it's not written in the policy if they are talking about Korean age or international age, because if you are not aware that Korean age is, counting of age here in Korea is different. Okay, so yeah, but they have this policy that you should be under 40 years of age as of September 1, 2020 for this batch, or probably by next year 2021 on that date, September 1, for the next batch. Okay, and then, or you should be born after September 1, 1980. Okay. Okay. And then the second one is if you are an academic professor, it means that you are already teaching. Okay, you need to be under 45 years of age as of September 1, 2020. Okay, or born after September 1, 1975. Okay, yeah, 1970. Yeah, and you should hold a citizenship of one of the ODA recipients. Okay, official development assistance countries. It means that they have the South Korean government, they have partner countries. If you miss that, you can watch the first part of this video. I mean the first part of this series. Okay, so if you met this age requirement, you are eligible. So first is the nationality, and the second one is the age. Okay, so if you miss the countries, I'm going to give you the list. We have 107 ODA recipients, so from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. So it is arranged alphabetically. So for my kapwa Filipinos, we are here, of course, Philippines. Yep. Okay, so if you want to see first the list, you may pause this video. Okay. The next one is the degree requirements, and this is quite strict. No, it's really strict when it comes to degree requirements, especially that you will be here as a graduate school student. Okay, so for this requirement, the applicant must hold or must be expected, if you are not yet finished upon your application, if you're not finished yet with your degree, to hold a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or doctorate degree by August 31, 2020, or probably on 2021 on the same month or around that week or that date. Okay, so for this batch, August 31, you should be already graduated, okay, on your degree. So if you want to study master's degree, you should already have or expected to have a bachelor's degree on that day. Okay, for doctorate program applicants, you must hold a master's degree or level of education equivalent to a master's degree, because as we already know that other countries have their own education systems. So the thing is that on that date, August, okay, before coming the month of August, you should hold one level down. So if you want to apply for doctorate program, you should be finished, or you are expected to be done with your master's degree program by August. Okay, so it means that later I'm going to discuss that. So for master's program, one level down, so you should hold a bachelor's degree or a level of education equivalent to a bachelor's degree on that month. Okay, August of any year. So for the research program applicants, okay, so I already discussed that aside from the graduate school program, you also have the opportunity to be here as a research partner. Okay, must hold a degree or a level education equivalent to higher than a master's degree. So the minimum requirement is master's degree. The minimum requirements is higher than master's degree. So it must be received in invitation from one NIAD's designated Korean universities. So if you still remember the first part, that in research program applicants, you cannot apply on your own will. You should wait for the invitation from the NIED, okay, from the Korean universities. Okay. So another one is that for same program, the research program, is that for postdoctorate research program, of course, that's why it's called postdoctorate, you should already hold or expected to hold a degree of doctorate, okay, or expected, or a level equivalent to a doctorate degree. Or for a professor exchange program, okay, professor exchange program, you should hold at least a master's degree or same level of education. And for the program for education, science, culture, international professionals, you should also hold a master's degree. In short, if we're going to summarize this, you should hold at least master's degree. I mean, one level down or one level up. So for master's degree, bachelor's degree, for doctorate degree, it should be master's degree, and for postgraduate and research, you should have at least a doctorate degree or equivalent for those programs. Right? So for the degree requirements, also you should also be expected to graduate, okay, whether with ceremony or not, as long as you have the documents. So you can submit, or you may submit the official degree certificate or the diploma that some countries call it upon or before rather August 31st 2020. So for this year it is August 34th, so by next year on that month probably. Okay, so in case that the applicants, for example, I applied for the program, and I mentioned to my applications that I will be holding my doctorate degree on that month, on August or before August, but I failed to submit the documents. So my slot, okay, or my applications will be forfeited. Okay, so be sure if you think that if you are decided to apply for this program, be sure about your documents and be sure about your degree, of course. Okay, another one is that the prospective applicants who have attained a bachelor's or master's degree or doctorate degree in Korea are not eligible for application of this program. So example, you already attained your degree here, bachelor's, master, doctorate here in South Korea, sorry, you are not applicable. But if you are overseas Korean adoptees, that is one of the programs that I mentioned in part 1, or a GKS scholar, you are eligible to continue and to apply for this program. Okay, so it means that if you already attained your bachelor's, master, or doctorate degree here, having your personal fund, okay, from your parents or your own, you are not eligible. But if you are a previous or ongoing, or a present GKS scholar, yeah, you can move on the next level, but of course you need to undergo the same process of applications. So applicants who have previously studied in a Korean university as exchange or visiting students can apply to this program. Okay, so for the applicants for Korean language teaching program, okay, or teaching professionals, you should be a Korean language instructors, okay, in the countries which are allocated with quota. Okay, I already gave the list previously in my previous vlog. Okay, so you are eligible to apply for this program. Okay, but with the following conditions. So the occupation must be elementary, secondary teacher, or you're teaching as a lecturer or working as a lecturer in university, or a professor teaching Korean language. So be sure that if you want to apply for this program as a Korean language teaching professional, you should you should be working also as in the same field. Okay, and of course the institution that you are presently working is recognized by the government of your country. Okay, and of course you should receive a recommendation letter from the chairman or president of your university. So it doesn't mean that if you want to apply for this program you will resign and that's it. No, because this is a scholarship grant, okay, a scholarship program, it should be you should also have the recommendation from your chairman, okay, that you will be transferring here for the education, and of course you need to return to your country after that. I think that's the objective of this recommendation letter. Okay, and of course you need to meet the 2-year experience, okay, of teaching career in this field as of February 29, 2020 for this batch. So probably for next year, yeah, same month. So it means that you should be working 2018, 19, 20 for 2020, for year 2020. So for next year 2021, at least you started your teaching career 2019, 2018, 19, 20, no, 2019, 2019, 2021. So 2 years, okay, before application, because the application starts by February or March, okay? And of course, if you are, of course, you will be studying Korean and you will be teaching Korean, okay, or teaching Korean, you should hold a bachelor's degree or above degree about Korean related major, okay? So you should also have a topic level 4. This is what, or above, this is what I'm aiming for, but it's really hard to study Korean. Let's see. And of course, valid topic score required as a proof. So you have, I'm not familiar yet with the topic, but as I'm familiar with IELTS, for sure there's a certificate of recognition or certificates of score or recognition about your level. Okay? So you should have, or if you're going to apply for this program, it is a must that your major also is Korean language education under GKA's program. So it doesn't mean that yes, you're a teacher of a Korean language and then you're going to apply with other discipline, management, education. No, you should apply related to your program, which is the Korean language education major. Okay, so you cannot apply for any kind of program. Okay, and of course, if you are done with your master's degree in Korean education in your country, you should apply on a higher level. So for example, your master's degree, you are holding master's degree in Korean language or any related about Korean education. So you need to apply for doctorate program. Okay, so if you're bachelor, holding a bachelor's degree about Korean language, so master's degree. You cannot apply for masters and then masters in Philippines, for example, and then masters here in South Korea. No, you cannot apply for that. Okay, and you can submit your application either embassy or university tracks. Okay, and of course you need to be selected of those one of those institutions in the first round of selection. So either. Please take note of the word either. So it means you can apply in the university track and you can apply in the embassy track. So if one of them accepted you for during the first round of screening, good for you. Okay. And of course, you can only reapply with a higher degree program once. Okay. So bachelor's to master's degree to doctorate, and must have an overall point average equivalent to 90%. It's quite strict and it's quite high. The requirements is 90%. Although in graduate school program, it's not the grading system or the grading perspective of the professors is that they are, if the students are really giving an effort, they give high grades to the student. I've been a graduate school program professor, so if I see the students are really giving effort, 90% is the lowest grade for that. So it's easy to attain. Okay, don't be intimidated with the numbers. Okay, the next one is the grades. Good luck to us. Okay, so the grades is, we're talking about GPA and CGPA. So GPA means that it's the grade point average. This is your average grade or score for the whole semester. Okay, for one semester. But when you say CGPA, is that this is your cumulative grade. Okay, it means that this is the your overall grade from first semester to fourth year, second semester, or whatever the system. It means that first year, first semester, and then fourth year to your last semester. Okay, it means the cumulative. So it means that you cannot have a failing grade. Okay, because there's a scale for that. So all applicants must have maintained the overall grade point average or the CGPA equivalent to or higher than any one of the following from their respective universities. These are the scale: 2.64 to a 4 scale. So when you say 2.64, if I'm going to look in our appendix A, 2.64 is 80%. 2.80, yeah. Because there are some countries or there are some higher education system that they have 4 scale. It means that 1, 2, 3 or 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1 in terms of their grading. So 4 is sometimes 98 to 100, so on and so forth, right? So 4 scale, 4.3 scale, 4.5 scale, and 5.5 scale. There are some universities that they have 5 scaling. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The highest is most of the time, as far as I know, the highest is always 4 or 5. Okay, I mean 4, 4.3, and then the lowest is the 1. Okay, so in short, if I going to show you, okay, your grade, I mean the conversion table, is that whichever scaling your university, your present university, I mean your previous university has, your lowest grade should be 80. 2.64, 2.80, 2.91, 3.23. Yes, 80%. We're talking about CGPA. That means that that is your lowest average. Okay, so yeah, I think it's attainable. It's attainable. So you should be a good student. Okay. So it means that if an applicant has a CGPA below the minimum grade or below 80, okay, the applicant will be disqualified and the applicant will be disregarded. So again, when you say CGPA, it is your overall grade from your first year up to your last semester in your senior year. Okay, so it means that your grade is 80. It doesn't mention in the requirement that, for example, you got a 75 grade. Yeah, it doesn't mean that, for example, in your one subject you got 75% or rather 70, but most of your grades or most of your courses you got 100. It's okay because we're talking about GPA and CGPA, the average. Okay, yeah. So don't worry if you got 70 or 75. Sometimes minors, okay, minors or some of your major, you got a problem with that and then you got a lower grade. But other subjects, other grades in your other subjects can save you because we're talking about CGPA. As long as your all grade or overall grade is 80%, you're good. Okay, so if you want to look thoroughly with the conversion table, you can go back or rewind this video and then just post it. Okay, so if an applicant, yeah, so again you will be disregarded. Okay, so what requirement is needed here? You need to submit a transcript record, but there are some universities or there are some institutions that they don't use this kind of scaling. Okay, so let me read this. Okay, if an applicant holds a transcript that does not include information on grade point average or is unavailable to convert his or her grades into one of the GPA criteria mentioned, you should submit an official document, okay, issued by applicant's university that describes the university grade system. So because there are each university, each institutions have their own education system or grading system. If you don't have this kind of conversion, you should submit a document, an official document discussing about the system. Okay, but I think nowadays most of the universities have their own scaling. Okay, so next requirement for you to be eligible is the health. This is one of the most important, of course. Yes, you are smart, you met the age, but you are unhealthy, you will have a problem with this. Okay, so all applicants should pass the 2 rounds selection. Okay, I mean, if you pass the second round selection, okay, later I'm going to discuss what do you mean by the first round, second round selection. Okay, you should submit and receive a comprehensive medical checkup. So you will be undergoing a medical checkup, of course, to check your physical, mental, okay, and emotional health, because you will stay here for how many years, right? So you should be healthy enough to stay here. They don't want to have they don't want to have a burden in terms of their scholars. Okay, so these are the disqualification criteria if you pass until the final round. So if the applicant is tested positive with drugs, there will be a problem with that. Okay, and if you have the applicants have the serious illnesses or illness that will prevent you to study here, sorry for that, you will be disqualified. Okay, so I think the medical test or the physical test that they are talking about, for sure they have the list of accredited clinics or hospitals to perform that kind of testing. Okay, so for if you think that you passed assessing yourself, if you assess yourself now and you think you passed all the requirements or the eligibility requirements, you may check other scholarship information in the website in Study in Korea. Okay, so I also I also instructed you or gave you a demonstration video on how to open or navigate their website, okay, in my previous vlog. Okay, just click or browse my playlist about this scholarship program. Okay, so just like what I mentioned to you, I'm going to discuss to you about the selection. So there's a first round, second round, and the third round of selection. So for the first round, it means that the applicants submit their application. So either in Korean embassies or in Korean universities that you've selected here in South Korea. Okay, each embassy and university selects candidates among the applicants based on the NIED's selection criteria. Okay, so the selections that I mentioned to you. So it means that, for example, me, I met all the criteria, all the requirements about age, health, and others. It doesn't mean that I will have the 100% chance to be granted of this scholarship. It's just kind of raffle, or it means that if this is your chance or this is your time to go here in South Korea to study, it will be given to you, right? Because there are some selections. For sure they have some other criteria about that. Okay, for sure if you got 80, okay, the grade, for sure they are selecting students gaining higher than 80. Right? For the second round, it means that the NIED selection committee conducts the second round of selections among candidates that passed the first round of selection. Again, for the first round, the applicants were screened by the embassy and by the university. Okay, the second one, the selecting committee, okay, the selection committee is the NIED. I already discussed that. It is the department who is handling this kind of program. Okay, so for example, from 100 applicants, the embassy and university selected 80. That 80 will be will undergo another screening by the NIED. Okay, so that's the second round of selection. Okay, the third round is the embassy track applicants only. So the embassy track applicants only has the third round of selection. So the applications of the second round successful candidates will finally be reviewed by the universities for admission. The final round selections, candidate must receive admission from at least one of the universities they applied in order to be selected as GKS scholars. Okay, so again, so the first round will be selected by the embassy. The second one is the NIED. Remember, you were selected by the embassy. Now, of course, you will not be you will not study in the embassy. You will be studying in the university. So even though you applied in the embassy, still the last screening committee is the university, because they didn't screen you during the first and the second screening, right? So for example, from 80 from the second round, you only be 50 applicants. So the university will screen the 50 applicants if they are good with that. So what I'm trying to say is, or my perception is that I think it's better to apply directly to the universities. Okay, because in embassy, you have many competitions with that, but for university you only have 2 selections. Okay, so let's continue. So these are the target months of this program. So for February and March, this is the application submission. Okay, so these are the deadlines for your submission either in embassy or in university track. Okay, for March, that is the first round selection. April 3rd, probably on that week, Korean Embassy University send application of first round. Okay, so end of April to early May, that's the second round selections. Okay, so it means that the NIED will select who will be successful. For the month of May, that's the announcement of the second round successful candidates. So for all the successful candidates, you can see your names on the notice board in the same website, www.studyinkorea.go.kr. Okay, but again, that's only second round. If you are under embassy track, you still have third round, right? But for the university track, I think you're good with this. Okay, so for month of May to May 22nd to June 12, that is the second round successful candidates. You need to submit your medical checkup results. Okay, and for the third round selections, that's for the embassy. Yeah, that's why it's quite. I mean, it's more advantageous if you're going to apply for the university track. That will be announced on the end during the end of May up to June. Okay, so everything will be there. And the June 12, that is the third round successful candidates. You need to notify their final university and major choice to NIAD. So on this round, because you didn't chose any university yet, your final university yet, it's the time that you're going to choose your final university. So June 26th, okay, that is the announcement of the 2020 GKS Graduate Degree Scholar. So that's the final announcement, and it will be posted and you will be informed in that website again. July 6th to July 15th, that is the invitation letter from NIED. July to August, that's the application of Korean visa and visa issuance. That's why I don't have the information yet about this batch, because especially in the Philippines, because I believe, or I heard in the news, that the Korean embassy in the Philippines is closed. So I don't know yet. So July 20 to August, okay, that's the reservation of purchase of flight ticket. That is one way only, of course, to Korea. And as mentioned to you, everything is free. Later I'm going to show you all the benefits. And August, month of August, I think this is the last week of August, third or last week of August, entry to Korea. Supposedly the students will be here on this month, but yeah. Okay, so these are the benefits of being a scholar of this program, the GKS. So for master's and doctorate degree, your airfare is free. I mean, I'm just going to discuss in a shorter form or shorter way, but you can read all the benefits in the website. It's there. Okay. For both master's and doctorate and research program, airfare is free, of course. Settlement allowance. When you say settlement allowance, okay, let me have my note. You will receive, if I might remember it right, 200,000. Okay, yeah, 200,000 won, Korean won. It's only offered once upon entry. When you say settlement allowance, from itself, from the word itself, once you arrive here, at least you have a fund worth 200,000 won to buy anything that you need to in your room or in cooking or in everything. It's 200. For my kapwa Filipinos, 200,000 won is around 8,000 pesos. Okay, and there are some cheap or affordable stores here that you can buy your things, okay, your personal things, of course, because you cannot bring everything here. So the third one is monthly allowance. For the monthly allowance, Okay, for the degree program, you will have 1 million per month. Okay, 1 million Korean won. Don't be confused with the digits. Okay, here it's quite. I mean, they have a large digits of that. The minimum, yeah, the lowest is 100 or 50. Yeah, but mostly you can buy 1,000, at least 1,001. 40 pesos for Philippines. Okay, so for again per month 1 million, so it's around 40,000 pesos. Ano, right? Yeah, around 40,000 pesos for Philippine peso. For research program, it's 1.5. Oh, 1 million, so around 60. Okay, 60,000 pesos per month. Am I right? 1 million is, yeah, it's 1 million. 1,040,000. Okay. So for research program, you have a higher. I have my notes. You have a higher monthly allowance. For research support program, both are supported. Okay, master's, doctorate, research program. For language training, master's, for only master's and doctorate degree. Okay. So because you need to use that, I mean, you need to learn that for a year. Okay. For that. Okay, so I believe you are familiar with the program, right? So if you are going to be here for master's degree, your first year will be about Korean language training, and then the remaining years, that will be for your the 3 years that is for your degree program. Okay, again, for doctorate degree, 1 year Korean, 3 years for your doctorate degree. And then for master's degree, that is 1 year for the Korean language program, and then 2 years for the degree program. Okay, so you have that. I think I'm going to discuss that later. Okay, research support, yeah, language training. For research, no, you don't need that. For tuition fee, master's and doctorate degree only, because research, you are not here to study anymore. You have a research project to do with that. So thesis printing, master's and doctorate. Medical insurance, both of you will receive a medical insurance. The medical insurance is around 20,000 won, yeah, per month, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, per medical insurance it's 20,000 Korean won. Okay, so per month. So you need that. That's one thing that is good here in Korea. You have the medical insurance. Korean proficiency grants. So when you say Korean proficiency grants, is that if you hold a valid topic level 5 or 6 for the GKS program, of course, you will have 100,000 won. It means you are fluent in Korean. I wish I'm fluent with Korean. So that's 100,000 won. So it is 4,000 pesos. Di na masama. Yeah. Degree completion, once you finish your degree, of course, you will receive a 100,000 won. That's offered once. Okay, it means that it is an offer or a grant from the South Korean government once you return to your country. Kasi marami nagti-TNT sa Tagalog. Okay, so yeah, I don't know the reasons, but once you're done, you need to go back to your country. Okay, yeah, so it's a very nice benefits if you will be granting, or you will be granted this kind of program. So this is what I'm discussing to you, the period of scholarship. So for the doctorate degree, 4 years, 1 year for Korean language, 3 years for regular degree program. For master's degree, 1 year for Korean language, 2 years degree for the program. And then if you are research program, 6 months or 1 year, right? Because it's only research project, research based, I mean research project based. Once you're done with the project, it's time to go. Okay, it's time to go. Okay, so I think that's the end of my discussion for this one. So what I'm trying to say is that for the graduate program is that if you have the eligibility, or you met the eligibility requirements, grab the opportunity. Walang masama, okay? Nothing will harm you in trying. Okay, so I hope you grab this opportunity. Everything is free. Okay, everything is free. It just didn't mention that if you are holding a student visa, if you can work here. But I'm hearing that other students here are working a maximum of 20 hours per week. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure yet about that. Okay, so I hope if you are watching this video and someday if you applied and you pass this program and you will be here in Korea, I hope you tap me or you message me and we can meet. Okay, and I'm very thankful that you watch and you had the opportunity. Okay, and now you are in South Korea. Okay, again, thank you so much and I hope this video will be helpful to you. Bye bye. Annyeong annyeong.